All right, all right, all right. We are live. So thank you guys for joining in. I am your host today. This is Andrea Wilson from Brickhouse Realty. I'm the broker here. So if this is your first time joining me, welcome, welcome, welcome. And for those of you that have been following me for some time, you know I've been going on, jumping on live, and we just been preparing, or kind of like the pre-show leading up to our homebuyers workshop that is tomorrow, and we still have space available. It's always funny because people start like today, between yesterday and today, a lot of people have registered, so you definitely don't want to miss out. We have a full house, and we're going to be at the Warrensville Library from 6 to 8 p.m. So, kind of leading into that, we've been covering some of the topics that we will go into more detail at the workshop tomorrow. And here I have Cindy with me. She is one of the panelists that will be also sharing at the workshop tomorrow. And so she's going to be touching on credit tomorrow. So I thought we can kind of roll into that because we won't go, it's hard to go into full detail because we have so much to cover the day of the workshop. So I thought that we would touch on some of these topics here. So Cindy, please go ahead and formally introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Cindy Mitchell, and I'm one of the realtors with Brickhouse Realty and Associates. And I'm just here today to cover and to go over with you things that even, in my life and past time, we've all done it, make mistakes, with credit and finances. So just to talk a little bit about that being, with those of you, who will be first time home buyers, and even those who may have made a mistake after first buying your first home. You made a mistake with messing up finances and credit, and then now you want to purchase another home or maybe even an investment property. So we'll just talk a little bit about that today.
All right, all right. So I love that before we kind of started here and we were just touching base, she talked about, like, some mistakes that, she may have made. I definitely know that I have made some mistakes when it comes to credit, and I am a big believer in sharing with others to help them in avoiding any type of mistakes that I made or wasn't informed about. And so, Cindy, what are some of the things that you hear and just working with people, some of the credit mistakes that you hear about or see that people make?
A lot of things that I hear with my clients is that when going over, their credit reports, when getting them pre-approved, maybe they had a high interest rate credit card. Maybe they had a credit card that was maxed out and, over the limit. Maybe they had a vehicle, that had a high interest rate, and just a lot of unnecessary spending. So just trying to help them, to get on track and to educate them on why is it so important, to have a monthly, budget, for your spending, and why it's important, to save, and why it's important not to max out credit cards and to not go over, 30% of whatever your available credit is. So I get a lot of that from my clients. And then if I have clients that need help cleaning up credit, I help them, with that also, with putting them through credit repair. So I get a lot of that.
So one of the things that so I don't really do credit repair anymore per se. I will help someone, I will review it, give them pointers and tips. But at one point in time, I used to really, okay, let me look at your credit report, let me look at your bank statements, let me look at all of this information. And looking at their bank statements is kind of, you really get to see a couple of big things that I see people do is, number one, eat out a lot.
Yeah.
And number two, well, that kind of is part of number one. DoorDash is crazy to
Yes,
me.
it's expensive. Uber Eats, it is expensive.
I don't DoorDash. I don't do Uber Eats. I won't say that I don't ever do that, because there's a point in time where you're like, okay, I can't go out, or I need to
Mhm.
get food to my kids. And so, but it makes me cringe at the upcharge that you have to pay for food by
Yeah.
using those services. And I think about all of the people. that are that they really can't afford, like they don't bring in a lot of income as it is, and
Hmm.
maybe struggling on saving and just trying to find those places where money is seeping. And so I always found that that's like one of the areas that I kind of focus in on. Is there anything that you kind of would see with folks?
Um, Primarily, what everything of what you just mentioned is just overspending. Where I will have clients making purchases for things that are not necessities. And so I talk to them about, in order for us to get you to where you need to be, let's just make sure that, you're doing what is necessary and not overspending. Let's take care of your needs first, and then we can deal with the wants later.
Yeah. What about budgeting? Do you have, is there a certain way that you kind of budget or you teach people to plan and budget?
I, from experience, I teach people to budget based on your need. So you need a roof over your head, you need lights, you need water, you need gas,
Hmm.
in your home. You got to have heat, you got to have food, and you have to have a way to work. So, and if you don't drive, then, you have to, you know, have other means, money put away, for transportation, needs. So I start out with the basic first. And then after that, then we go to, entertainment, movies, eating out. How often do you do these things? How, you know, often are you going shopping, buying clothes, depending on, your field of work? Do you have to buy, how much do you have to spend, per month on clothing? Do you wear uniforms? Do you get a clothing allowance? So I just, break down and go into all of that with them to get a complete picture of what it is that you actually should be spending, and then based on, their debt to income ratio. Do you have student loans? How much are your student loan payments? So all of that comes into a factor when it comes to budgeting.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. Do you know who Grant Cardone is?
Yes.
Okay, so this was a while ago, but I saw a video that he kind of put out there and was talking on there. And so one of the things like people always talk about going to Starbucks, the Starbucks, don't go to Starbucks, make the coffee at home, right? So if you know who Grant Cardone is, you know that he has a different way of thinking, right?
Right.
So his philosophy is, if you can afford to go pay the $5 Starbucks coffee, then you don't have a budgeting problem. You have a money problem, right?
Right.
So he's saying, from his standpoint, you need to earn more money. That's the problem. So it's not like a $5, Starbucks coffee. That's not going to make or break you. It's, you need to make more money. And
Right.
so it had me thinking when I heard that, like, to a certain degree, I feel like that is part of the problem. But I also feel like you got to kind of read through that a little bit,
Yeah.
because it going to Starbucks every day, $5 for coffee, is
Yeah.
excessive,
It adds up.
and it adds up quickly. But I also feel like people don't talk enough about, like, you could budget to death. You can try to save and penny pinch, but at a certain point, you may just need to make some extra money.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And I feel like people don't really touch on that piece of it, about the extra money. And so, one of the things when buying a home, though, why I feel like it's important for people to come to the workshop is because, in order for the lender to even consider that extra income from that side hustle or whatever, they're usually looking for a 2-year period,
Hmm.
to be able to add that in as part of your income when trying to purchase a home. So sometimes sooner than later, people will try to, oh, I need to make some extra money, but I have this other income. And so they just can't factor that in. What are your thoughts, just around, making extra money, trying to, save for a down payment for a home?
I think that if you depending on, also let's factor in your family status. If you're married, if you're a single mom, a single dad, um, I know, people looking to, well, I need a babysitter, well, I can't do this and can't do that. But then you have those that say, hey, I can pick up, a part-time job, to make this happen, and to have that as a supplement, for savings. So it is beneficial, if you're able to pick up, a part-time job, or even look into, at your present job, is there room for growth? Is there room for advancement, which will lead to, an increase, in your annual salary as well. So that is a big factor as well. Bringing in extra cash. I mean, we have so many different revenues, nowadays. You can do DoorDash, you can do Uber Eats, you can do Amazon. So, there is, it's like, there is kind of like no excuse to say what you can't do, because we have so much more now available to us, accessible, to do. So if you are a single parent, you can maybe carve out 3 hours or 4 hours to do Uber Eats or that DoorDash, to earn that extra, $300 or $400 within a couple of hours. So it is possible.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options that are out there. So, at the Home Buyers Workshop tomorrow, we will get into a little bit more detail. We'll have our lender partners there, and they'll share kind of like that minimum score requirement that's required to kind of purchase a home. And really dive into that and give you guys some good information. And even if you're looking to buy a year out, maybe even 2 years out, you may want to just stop in, check things out, listen. Knowledge is power. I keep saying that. And so that way you can be in position, because like we're talking here about this side hustle kind of business of either Uber Eats or Amazon driver or Flex, anything that you will not receive a W-2 pay stub or a pay stub from, then that employment is like self-employment, and the lender will need to see at least 2 years tax returns from that. So let's have that conversation now, so that way, and what your paperwork and documentation needs to look like, so that you're in position and ready to go. Cindy, is there anything that you want to share with everyone before that maybe we didn't touch on?
I would say that this workshop is really, going to be phenomenal for first time home buyers and for those who need the information. I mean, just to come, like Andrea said, to gain the knowledge and to know what you need to know before you buy. That way, whether it's like she said, a month from now, 6 months from now, a year or 2 years from now, you have the information. So you can have your own checklist to start and to begin to, get those documents together and say, okay, I have this, I have this, I have my 1099s, I have my W-2s, I have my tax returns. And then once you're ready, you have everything that you need in order, and you don't have to scramble at the last minute. And you have the information that we will educate you on tomorrow, as far as lenders, what to look for, percentage rate. We'll go over credit. We'll go over pre-approvals. We are going to educate you on everything that you need to know.
Well, there you have it. She sounds so knowledgeable, because she is, and she's going to be presenting tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that. I will, well, you can, the number's scrolling below. You can text the phone number that's scrolling below, and we will send you the text message back with the link to register. Just come out. You don't have much time, but just, you have still some time between today and tomorrow to register, but we're almost there. Come out while the weather is still nice, and so we would love to see you. Outside of that, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, Cindy.
Absolutely.
And thanks for joining in.
Thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Register today. The event is free. Registration is free.
I
See
know.
you
I keep
tomorrow.
forgetting to say that. It's free, guys. It is
Yes.
free. All right. Thank you.